We are live for another edition of the Diana and Scott Talk Travel, brought to you by SCOTTeVEST. Laura's here as well. It's going to be kind of a different program because we don't have it because Diana can't get her volume working.
I got it working.
Oh, good. See?
Well
Technical
done.
issues fixed.
Yesterday, I just have to tell you, I'm an old lady. Yesterday, I had 2 Zoom calls, one from 5 to 6:30, and I had to leave at 6:25 to get my second Zoom that started at 6:30 till 8. I'm done.
What were you Zooming about for all those hours?
One was Latin school, and one was my HOA, the homeowner, the umbrella association. I was like shaking crazy. And then today I had a 12 o'clock call and I couldn't get onto Zoom at all. And now I have this and I had a problem. But I have something, according to your topic, I have the best thing that I could probably go to jail for in my SCOTTeVEST.
But we do not
dear.
want you going to jail.
What are you carrying in your SCOTTeVEST that could put you in jail?
Okay, so you remember I went for my big birthday when I was 40? That was 2 years ago.
That was 40 times.
Hold on one second. Hold on one second.
Wait. Mom, hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold that thought. Oh, well.
Now?
Wait. We can't hear you.
I can hear you now.
You can hear me now.
I can hear you now.
So when you were 40 times 2.
So I went on a Stanford trip to Mongolia. And the professor they sent with us is very well known in dinosaurs. And I know zero. But I learned a lot. And then the last day, it was our last dinner. We were in the mountains. And about 7 of us went hiking with him. And we got to a place and we're hiking and it's beautiful and lovely. And we all know each other now. And he said, okay, everybody down on the ground and start digging. And we started digging. And it looked like we found...
With your hands?
Yeah.
Did you use shovels?
Well, I took a stick but we did it with our hands. And I found what looked like a portion of an egg. And he said, these are dinosaur eggs. They're 1 million years old. And we were all excited and we all found pieces and the hiking kind of ended because it was time for cocktail hour anyway. And so I happened to put and he said, and you can't take this out of the country because it belongs to Mongolia. So I put it in my pocket of my SCOTTeVEST. And when and then I packed to come home and guess what happened?
What happened? Hi, Heidi.
You're a smuggler.
I am a smuggler and I have 1 million year old part of a dinosaur egg. And your mother, Laura. I put it away so well, I can't find it.
Oh, dear. Hi, Heidi. You just missed. My mother just admitted to smuggling a dinosaur egg from Mongolia.
It's 1 million years old in my
SCOTTeVEST.
Yeah, that's not what you want to be admitting to, I don't think, is it?
I don't think the Mongolian government's going to come after me.
They might.
So anyway, do we get to see it?
I can't remember where I put it. I put it with your baby spoon that I couldn't find to give you when you were 50 years old. And I found it. It's right here in the drawer. I'll bring it to you the next time I see you.
Oh, dear.
They're going to think your mother's a ditz.
We know you're a ditz.
We kind of love you for it.
You're so nice.
Well, how's everybody this week?
I'm so glad it's Thursday.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
I'll be happier when it's Friday. We're doing good. It's almost through September, and I actually had dinner out with a friend, a human being, and it was very pleasurable.
Where did you go?
Town Square Tavern.
Okay.
They sat outside.
We sat outside, and I literally turned to him and I posted on Facebook. I said, I'm going to try to have a full conversation without talking about COVID or politics. That I wanted to have 1 hour of a conversation, because if you look back, every conversation you have had for the last 7 months since March, with someone of any substance has included talking about the virus and or politics. And unfortunately, we failed, but it was very nice to connect with someone. I see Timothy Sawchek just got his first SCOTTeVEST, and we're headed on vacation in a week, and he can't wait to try it.
Where are you going?
I don't know if Timothy is watching live, but he's might be slightly delayed if he's watching.
Well,
it
if he
here.
can chime in, we'd love to know where he's going.
Yes. And the topic for today was inspired in part by what Spud asked us. It got us all thinking. And that is, if you could go back in time to last September,
And you knew that the pandemic was coming and you were going to be under lockdown. What trip would you have taken, knowing
between September and March? Timothy's live on Facebook. Timothy, if you want to join in live, feel free to just simply click on the Zoom link above. If you prefer to be there, you're headed to Lake Superior.
Eat some whitefish.
Oh, Lake Superior.
My mother's gonna have something to say about Lake Superior. When I get there.
Heidi, you've got a lot of wind noise. I'm going to mute you.
Okay, actually, I can go inside. I'm sitting outside.
You can probably stay outside. Just if you're moving around a lot, I think it's.
Okay, go ahead and mute me.
Okay, I'll mute you.
Until you're ready to answer the question.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can figure out how to mute you. Oh, there we go. Muted. You've been muted. All right. So where in Lake Superior are you going, Timothy? Because that's also a good question. I want to talk about, the hypothetical question, but I also think it's time to start talking about the real question. And Laura and I were talking, where are you going to travel next? I mean, planes are traveling, they're doing it carefully.
Well, I told you,
Laura
I had
sent me
read,
some,
So Alitalia is testing a flight. It's one internal flight within Italy that's basically like a COVID-free flight. And you have to bring your certification, but they also test you with one of those instant tests at the airport so that pretty much it's a safe flight. And I think if that works, and I read about another airline starting to do that. I did read when we ran into the grocery store today after the post office, I was reading the Town and Country I picked up at the post office. And they're like, people are traveling. So I get to the article. Basically, incredibly wealthy people are taking over full hotels or full resorts.
And they're all flying private.
Yes.
They are not.
Oh, is that right?
They were talking.
They are not flying commercial. No.
One of the Amangani properties in Utah, like you fly into a private airport in Arizona, then you helicopter in 20 minutes, and then it's this 10 tent facility that like a family will take over. But ultimately, I think the Alitalia thing was the most promising.
Well, if they have, testing like that, I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't. We talked about the cruise lines because a cruise line reached out to us before the shit hit the fan, and they wanted to carry SCOTTeVEST. And I was thrilled, and I reached back out to them now saying, what's going on? They said all boats have been, docked until next year. But, if people are flying on a plane, Laura said, well, why couldn't they go on a cruise? Now, listen, I'm not here to say, to the world, there's no virus and just live your life. But I am here to say that if there's testing and you can put 20 people in a bubble, you could probably put 2,000 people from a cruise ship into a similar bubble. And you can have quarantine areas of the cruise ship. You can have testing before they come.
And testing daily.
And testing.
But I don't know.
There are ways to live with this virus in the short term. Diana, you're shaking your head, but you came here. You of all people, you've been more adventurous than.
Yeah, but look at the cruise ships. Remember they had where they were quarantined on the cruise ship for like months.
Well, that's because they didn't know how to deal with them. That's because they had no idea how to deal with them.
But cruise ships have historically had issues anyway, isn't that? Where like Legionnaire's disease.
Yeah, no,
and
that's
like
true.
That.
No.
So I don't know, but we're just trying to figure it out. I mean, where I stand. I'm the least adventurous person. I've barely left the building other than.
And you've been all over the world, so.
Right. Which I'm glad I have, because right now it's not bothering me that I can't go anywhere.
So I see we have Sharon Cabral saying she would never fly right now, but she would take a road trip. Too much to catch on a cruise ship other than COVID.
That's what I was just saying.
And Tim's
Agreed.
heading to Summit Lake, Wisconsin, which should be beautiful as well. Heidi, you want to, or Robert, do you want to chime in? You want to unmute yourself and chime in? And
Yeah, we'd like to hear if we could go back in time to last September, but you knew what was coming in March.
I honestly, can I answer?
Okay, we're gonna let Scott answer. He's not picking up the mic.
All
Go
right.
for it.
But I'm going to ask you to get in
I
camera.
am in camera.
No,
Well, I don't need to, you're
No,
you're
but
talking.
I don't like hands sticking out of the corner. So
I'm trying to
just
stay
stay in
Okay.
camera.
I'm trying to stay in.
So, all right. In all seriousness, if someone in September said this shit is about to hit the fan, where would you go? I think I would just travel. I would just really. I wouldn't go to one place. I would just hit the road. If someone said, on March 13th, you cannot travel at all, and it's going to last an indefinite period of time, and life is going to be horrible, and for the most part, I would go and do like a 90-day trip around the world or whatever those passports are. I would hug people. I would stick my tongue in their ear.
Okay.
I would do whatever I needed to do to connect with people.
You're
I'd
in
be
a
at a
different
bar. I'd
virus.
spit in their face and have spit come back at me. I would enjoy the fact, I'm kidding, obviously. I really desperately miss the human contact. I'm a loud talker. I'm probably spitting now unintentionally. I would do that. I would go to Africa. And I would, by the way, if part of it is it a secret that only I know that the shit's going to hit the fan, or does everyone know the shit is going to hit the fan? Because that's going to change.
Maybe we need to rephrase the question.
Yeah, rephrase it. This is.
If you could take a trip and it was going to be the last trip you could take for a while.
How long is the trip?
It doesn't matter. It's
Sure does.
what would you
No,
want?
I would put a time limit on it, like 3 weeks.
Okay.
3 weeks.
Yeah, so you have 3 weeks and you know that you're not going to be able to travel for the next year because you're going back to grad school, and between working full-time and in school full-time, you just won't have time to go anywhere else. So you have 3 weeks left of free time. Where are you going?
Well, because I know that one of the hardest things about this quarantine is the lack of human interaction. I think I'd go to a place where I'm just surrounded by people. And I know
New York?
New York, big cities, I would go for, I would just go from concert. I would do all the things you're not allowed to do and have no likelihood of being able to do. And, for the foreseeable, I'd see shows, I'd go to sporting events. I would just suck in all the human interaction possible. I wouldn't go to a beach because I can go to a beach now. I wouldn't go to an isolated island or something like that. My dream trip is the Scottish Highlands. So long as there's lots of people there, I'd go there too. That's from Timothy.
Mm-hmm.
Karen, you're in quarantine till September.
Because they flew on September 14th. That's how that happened.
Is that right?
Sorry, and I'm squinting because I took my contacts out, so I have to lean all the way in to read the comments. Well, Mom, we went to a really cool place in the Scottish Highlands
Yes, we did.
Took me when I was 14, which I'll let my mom tell the story, but it was quite a trip. The 3 of us went. We drove. I think from London.
First we took the
but
flying Scot
basically driving on the other side of the road
with your father. Oh,
was like, you can't even imagine, but I'll let my mom talk about it. And that was Borthwick Castle, which I remember was so cool.
Wonderful.
Okay, take it.
We took the Flying Scot from London to Edinburgh. And then we drove up, and what did you see when we got to that big lake, Laura, and I lied to you?
When we were driving up to Inverness and we went past
And
Loch
I
Ness.
told her there was the Loch Ness Monster, and I saw it. You were 16.
Did you take a picture?
I was 14. I was not
14.
16. I was 14.
Did you take a picture?
No, I don't think we took pictures then. I don't remember. No. And then we went and tell them
You
about
saw the Loch
Borthwick.
Ness Monster, Loch Ness Monster, and you didn't take a picture? What's that about?
Well, I didn't really see it. I lied.
Oh.
But then we stayed at Borthwick Castle. Tell about it, because there was a Chicago connection.
See, I don't remember that. I just remember it was this really cool castle. And I remember having like the dinner there, which was incredible. And you just muted my
No,
mother.
no, I didn't. No. Are you, Diana, you muted yourself.
Am I mute? No, I didn't mute.
No,
my-
there you
Okay,
are.
so you have to talk about Borthwick Castle because you planned the trip. I just thought it was a really cool castle.
It was really
And
weird.
they made really good kakaliki soup.
Yeah, they did make kakaliki soup. And it turned out there was this Chicago connection because they had to rent out the castle because the family that owned it couldn't afford to maintain it. So we were some of the guests that they had that paid for it. And it turned out Mr. Borthwick, I don't remember
I
his
believe
name,
he was Lord Borthwick.
Lord, or not Mr. or Senor Borthwick. He actually was in the cattle business, and I think his partner was Armor, meats
Hot
in
dogs?
Chicago. And he used to come to Chicago. He used to go to the place where they slaughtered things on the South Side, which they don't do anymore. They slaughter other things on the South Side now. And it was the most wonderful dinner. But Mr. Lord Borthwick drank a little too much. He was incredibly drunk. And Laura, you stayed for dinner, I know.
I
It was
remember
incredible.
that. I remembered the kakaliki soup.
It was a great experience. The castle needed an interior designer to kind of freshen it up. It wasn't elegant, but it was beautiful. And I think we spent 2 nights there.
Yeah, we did. I mean, I just remember how like thick the walls were because we always think this building is a fortress. I mean, our SCOTTeVEST office and our home above, it's like this concrete building that's gonna last forever. Borthwick Castle had thicker walls.
They
Well, I
did.
imagine they
Yeah.
were probably, under attack or
Exactly.
threatened of under attack.
And I
or-
think they had the moat I've always wanted. We were gonna put.
We
a
were gonna
moat
put
here.
a moat. We
were
still
gonna put a
may.
moat, but between us and what? I mean, we're in downtown Ketchum.
Yeah, we're
We
not
don't really
we're
have
not
space
scared
for
of
a moat.
anything. We have plans for
I just
a
always
moat.
wanted a moat.
Haven't
if you get a chance-
haven't you all always wanted a monkey?
That too.
A monkey?
Well, you know, Daddy and I both always wanted monkeys.
Oh, that isn't happening.
Stop it.
Yes.
Stop.
Um,
Okay. So should we let anyone else talk about where they would have gone if they had known they were going to be under lockdown for an indefinite period of time?
I think I would have done that trip you were just describing. It sounds great. And I've never, I haven't had a chance to really explore Europe yet, which is weird because I've been all over, but I haven't been to Europe. And
That
so
is weird. If you don't
Yeah.
mind saying so.
And
That
let me tell you, it was
I was
really
supposed to be
cool
in
because,
Switzerland.
yeah, after taking the train from London up to
Edinburgh.
Scotland, we drove all the way back to London, like through the Cotswolds
that
and all these
sounds
small
great.
towns. It was really
And the Lake District, remember the Lake District? I was almost quoting poetry because that's where lots of poets are from.
And we were in Stratford upon Avon,
Mm-hmm.
home of Shakespeare.
yeah.
See, that sounds like a perfect trip. I would have loved to, because it would have the mix of the very wild places, but you still get the urban areas and you get the people fix like Scott likes, and
Of course,
that, I
the
think would have been
driving
a
on the
great
other
trip.
side of the road was the adventure.
I did
Her
that
father,
in Australia. That was fun.
my husband went back to smoking on that trip because I say, Richard, you're on the curb. So he started smoking, and she was a typical 14-year-old. She had things in her ears and was listening to her music the whole trip.
No. I did not have things in my ears. I was reading. And you couldn't understand how I could read the entire trip and not get car sick. I had a pile of books in the back. I was reading appropriately Agatha Christie mysteries. Which
Oh, I never knew
right
that.
for the setting.
Sounds good.
But no, Heidi, you should, once you can go somewhere. I mean, it was really, like I said, I was 14. I actually remember the details of it. It was really an interesting trip.
I would love to. And hopefully when it starts opening back up, that would be the first thing I do. I was very, very disappointed I wasn't able to go to Switzerland this year. because that was going to be my big trip of the year. You know, spend a couple weeks around Switzerland, hike up the mountains, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, I've really been enjoying rediscovering America. I mean, I'm in Colorado right now. We went to a remote.
Because you were in Texas last week.
Yeah.
Where in Colorado are you?
We started out in Colorado Springs, but we went farther north to the Broadmoor fly fishing camp. Spent 2 days there.
Oh, cool.
Learning how to fly fish, which was phenomenal and gorgeous. And then we headed back down to Colorado Springs, stayed a night at the Broadmoor, and now we're in Canyon City at the Royal Gorge. And I have a fellow travel writer with me on this trip. She's going to kill me because I'm going to pop into her room and introduce her.
Oh, good.
Oh, there's Jill. She's my travel buddy.
Hey, Jill, how are you?
Hi, Jill.
You want to participate?
She's working right now. She's like, oh, don't show my face. We both suffered from the altitude quite a bit up here. By the way.
Drink a lot of water. Drink a lot of water.
Makes you cheap drunk, I'll tell you that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Live at altitude, you can be out in one drink.
You know, there's a funny story. A buddy of mine came to visit, and we told him to drink a lot of water when he came to visit. And we said, you know, drink a lot of water, like a lot of water, and you'll be fine. You won't believe this. He was an ex-cop. I mean, like a chief of police. I mean, he was like a tough guy, you know, a nice guy, but a tough guy. And he calls me up. He's in the hospital. He overhydrated himself.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It is a thing. Not only is it a thing for people, but get this, it happened to our fish as well. I know it's going to sound ridiculous to you, but we drowned our fish.
We did.
How?
If you put more fish in a tank than they're supposed to be, then they suck, each of them suck all the oxygen or and once you put that one additional fish, you know, it doesn't happen slowly. It's like if you're allowed 12 fish and you put 13 in, then they all die immediately. And Laura, we had all these tiny little.
So we had neon tetras, which are really tiny.
They're beautiful.
You have a huge tank. So Scott wasn't doing the math you typically would because they were so little. So he's out of town. I come home from work and I see a few dead little neon tetras. So I go get the net to scoop them. And as I start scooping, he calls. I'm on like a cordless phone on a ladder with the net, and they started dying. I mean, just like all of it. Probably 1,000 in there. And I'm scooping and running to the toilet and flushing, flush. And finally, I'm like, Scott, I can't talk to you now. He didn't believe me until he came home the next day, and they were all gone.
Wow.
They drowned. It was horrible, but that's not what happened.
Oh, wait, there are a couple of questions.
Okay.
Timothy asked, we do this at the same time every Thursday? For the
have
most part,
been,
we've been
yes.
trying to. Sharon has a
Yes.
name, water
Intoxication.
intoxication is real, and hypodroxia
Hey,
is.
Spencer.
Hey, Spencer.
Spencer, you usually are on camera.
You want to join? You're welcome to. The links above. We'd love to have you.
So here, we can get off the topic of drowning fish.
Yeah, because that's not related to anything.
And we do want to get back on where would you go? And even if it wasn't, if you could go back a year, once there is a vaccine, and this is under control because it will be eventually.
Which I want to define what is that? What
okay, well, let's not worry about that. Let's have
Okay.
some fun. Once there's a vaccine and things are under control again, and it's deemed safe by Dr. Fauci and friends that you can travel, where do people want to go?
Yeah, someone
Anywhere.
would like to see their
Mhm, friends
their
and family.
friends, you know, and family. You know, so I can appreciate why that would be the case.
I know when we do Armchair Traveler, the emails we do, we get tons of photos of people's trips to Machu Picchu. I pretty much can't write an edition without that. And I've never been there.
Yeah, there are a lot.
I've been there. I've been there and it's wonderful and everybody should go there. It's very, if you think you're high there, altitude wise, it's high.
I'd have a hard time because
This is
I want to be able to drink anything up there.
Well, now you have cocoa tea and that helps.
I've heard about the cocoa tea in Ecuador and places
And
like that.
I brought the tea bags home and I had a cold one day and I apparently it's another time I shouldn't have taken the tea bags out of the country because they are cocoa, something's in them. And I was walking around my kitchen and I was like goofy. And I thought, oh, the cocoa tea works at a high altitude. It doesn't work at sea level. I was dizzy and I realized it helps with altitude sickness.
That's good to know because I was surprised how much the altitude affected me the first day. Second day or so started getting a little better, but I was like, ooh, this is no joke.
It isn't. You have a headache.
Really
just headache and felt dragged down.
Yeah.
And of course, it's harder to breathe up there. So, if you're doing active thing like hiking, you're like, ooh, when did I get this out of shape? Jeez, oh my God. Then you're like, oh yeah, I can't breathe.
So I'd like to welcome Spencer, you're on mute, and Timothy joined us as well. So thanks
Timothy,
for joining.
if you want to unmute, we'd love to hear about your planned trip to Wisconsin. And my mother's going to tell you to eat like superior whitefish.
I asked to unmute you, Timothy, if you'd like, and
Got it. So, funny thing is, my wife just walked in. She has no idea that this is happening. So, like I said, she bought me a SCOTTeVEST, and for this trip coming up. And now here I am talking to all these people like this.
that's funny.
The owner of SCOTTeVEST.
The owners. This is my wife.
Oh, sorry, the owners. Okay, so yeah, we're headed up to a cabin in Wisconsin. And our plan for this year was actually to drive north. We live in the Kansas City area, to drive north up into Canada and make a left turn and just drive and drive and drive. And last year we went east. We drove all the way to Nova Scotia.
Oh my.
Wow. I love Canada.
I don't believe we're allowed in Canada right now.
We're not.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh,
I said, yeah, no, we should be sharing.
CNN ran a map today of where Americans are allowed to travel. There, other than it was Mexico, Brazil, and then it got to be kind of a scary list. There are only about, I think, 7 or 8 countries where we're even allowed.
You can go to Poland. I
didn't see that on the map.
Huh?
That wasn't on the map Scott sent.
Yeah, it was on the map last week.
Oh, hold on, I'm gonna go look at the map.
Yeah.
Okay.
Timothy, we're in Wisconsin.
Sorry. Diane was supposed to tell us about Lake Superior. I think it was something bad.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think I've been there. I know it's one of the 5 Great Lakes, but I only know Lake Michigan. Ask Laura what I did on Lake Superior. It must be something memorable for her that I must.
No, you whitefish. You used to always eat it.
Oh,
Lake Superior whitefish.
You're Jewish, isn't that a thing?
Whitefish, but you only if you live anywhere. It's only in the Midwest because my friends that have moved to Arizona and Florida and California cannot get Lake Superior whitefish. If they offer you Lake Michigan whitefish, say no. So, are you to Chicago on your way to Wisconsin?
Pardon?
No, so we're driving through Minneapolis.
Wisconsin just been put on the bad list that you'll have to quarantine when you get home.
Well, we didn't hear you say that, so that's okay.
I know. When I was there in Idaho, I arrived on Thursday and he said, when you get home, you're going to have to quarantine. It's going in effect Monday. My birthday was Saturday. I tried to get out on Sunday and couldn't. So I came home on Wednesday and I was at home for 2 weeks. That was punishing me. So pretend you didn't hear from me. I
We
didn't
didn't
say.
hear you. We didn't hear. My wife was going to tell you how we found SCOTTeVEST.
Yes, I want to
we'd
know.
Love to hear
So
that.
here,
And what is
this
your
is my-
wife's name? Does she have one?
Jennifer.
Hi,
Does she
Jennifer.
have one?
Hi, Jennifer.
Yeah, so, you know, a couple years ago, our son's an Irish dancer. Did he tell you that already?
I wrote it. Actually, yes.
Yeah, so our son's an Irish
Do you
dancer.
want to light? Is there a light? You're really dark. You're kind of backlit. Those are. Don't open those. That'll make it worse. I think.
We're
No, they won't.
So
Now,
Now
That's
you're
worse.
in the shadow,
You need
yeah.
to light your face a little.
Here,
bit.
hold on. We'll take you into the kitchen.
Yeah, I'd like to. What are you serving us? You have a lovely home, by the way.
oh yeah, there the lights much
Oh,
better.
there you are. Oh,
Steve
Joey.
wishes we had cheaper shipping to the UK. So do we.
So do we.
Don't we have a deal coming up?
We do have a shipping deal coming up. I don't recall the dates off the top of my head, in October. And Jim has been on the phone this week with
We should
all
do
the
free.
shipping
We should do a
companies.
free shipping international.
We've got a 50% off international shipping deal coming up.
We should do free.
Okay.
We're having
Okay.
Okay, there's Jennifer.
Okay,
Let's hear Jennifer.
so Jennifer was going to tell you how we found SCOTTeVEST.
Oh, that's a lot better. Thank you.
Our son, he's 19 years old, but he has been an Irish dancer since he was 9. Long time.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
And he got to compete he qualified for the world championship. And it was in Glasgow, Scotland. So that was my first time traveling overseas. And my sister went with us, and he had to stay home because it was Lent and Easter, and he couldn't go. Tell me your opinion. Oh, his job. So anyway, we went overseas and got to do Glasgow and Edinburgh and travel all around. And when we came back, my sister found this group called Travel Fashion Girls. Have you guys heard of that?
No.
Well, they've talked about you guys big time.
Oh.
Oh, really? What are their names?
It's on Facebook, and it's called Travel Fashion Girls. And
Okay.
it's run by Alexandra Jimenez, I think. I may have her name wrong. But it's on Facebook, and it is the nicest group of, well, it's mostly women, nicest group of people I've ever been around. And I get on
Wow.
daily. And all the women are travelers, and they give advice and give ideas. And so I go on, in fact, I was on it this morning. I'm on it all the time, just trying to figure out places,
Okay.
things to buy. And this guy had asked me about a vest that he could wear when he was walking, and all my women had been talking about the SCOTTeVEST.
Really?
Yeah,
We gotta get on there.
thousands, hundreds, lots.
Yeah.
And they all said nice things, I hope and
They
trust.
did. And so it's on there. Lots of people are recommending it. Some people are
So they say what to wear everywhere. That
Yeah.
must be where it is.
and they were talking about how safe they feel using it. And the women were talking about that they have it too, and they buy them for their husbands. So
Well, that's awesome. And
That's cool.
what did you think when you got it, Timothy? Did you like it?
It's my favorite toy in the world right now, because I'm trying to figure out, like, what can I put in this little pocket?
26
And
pockets.
my goal is to get them all filled out while I'm doing a hike with whatever. I don't know what.
That should be fun.
They're all talking about how they use it for, okay, so the idea behind this group, Travel Fashion Girls, is to try to travel carry-on only.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
They use you guys as a way to get around the weight of the luggage. So, they're putting their iPad in the back pocket, which is, what use is that back pocket? I don't know. They put their iPads in there and their computers, and so the weight's on the body, and they use that to get on the plane so that they only have to travel on.
Yeah. Years ago, we did a contest called the No Baggage Challenge, and sometimes Ralph, not Ralph.
Ralph
but it's
Potts.
Ralph, but Josh in Japan.
Oh yeah, he's usually
He's
in
done
this.
it. He sometimes joins these live streams. He did it when we used to do it Fridays earlier in the day, but he did the challenge, And people have traveled around the world using just our pockets and absolutely no luggage.
Wow.
And
For a long period of
yeah.
time. This husband and wife did
They
it.
did it for
Yeah, if you go to
couple
No
of
Baggage
months.
Challenge, you search No Baggage Challenge on Facebook, you'll see it. It's called the No Bag. That's the only way I travel. I don't like to bring, well, they don't bring any bags.
Right.
They literally bring only what you can fit in your SCOTTeVEST. Now that's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
That's a bit extreme.
Absolutely.
They've got it down. There's some women that are just incredible. They say, I'm gone to Europe for 6 months and I've got a backpack.
Yep.
It's really it's liberating, because it's not just the fact that you save on baggage fees, but what I like is less is more, and you get to experience more. And instead of wondering, oh, what color shirt am I going to wear tomorrow? You're traveling. The people you saw yesterday are not the people you're going to see today, and if they are, who cares? Wash it in your sink, and it's really. It's inspiring. It's funny because we have younger employees here a while back, and we went for a 3-day weekend for a trade show, and Lo in particular brought the largest suitcase I've ever can imagine. She checked it, I paid for it, and I'm like, really? I don't care about the money, but the stupidity of it all, so I can call
Every time I travel.
Tim.
Okay.
That's how you travel?
Yeah, I absolutely hate carrying big luggage. So I have this great backpack. It holds as much as a carry-on suitcase, and it fits under the seat. Perfect. Last time I had to travel with a giant suitcase was when we went to Cairo, because we were bringing back so many costumes and things like that. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare traveling with a big suitcase. Never again.
It was hard with Nate because he had his costume and he had his dance shoes.
Yeah, when you have
Yeah,
stuff
it's
like
extra
that,
dance
it kind of
shoes.
changes it. But
And how did the contest go? The Irish dancing contest.
Oh, so it's sort of a sad story. He got injured and didn't get judged. So it was kind of sad.
Scotland was actually, because he competed like the third day we were there, and the rest of the trip was kind of stank because and the Irish judges were nasty.
They were mean.
They were nasty. So, and then the next year, world competition was in North Carolina. We had American judges. Much nicer, and it was a better experience. And then this year it was supposed to be in Dublin, and of course, pandemic hit, so he didn't get to go. So he's done. And I was very sad because he was beautiful to watch, I thought. I'm his mom, though. He was really good.
I love the gap in your teeth. I have one too.
Manny Sanguian, if you know the Pirates.
No, what?
So when I met her back in the 1990s, the first thing I told her was she looked like Manny Sanguian. And so he's a catcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh, they tell me I look like Alfred E. Newman.
Letterman, yeah.
I don't think that's a compliment.
It was, because he's my hero. He was great. So that was wonderful.
I knew I made it when SCOTTeVEST was featured in Mad Magazine. So, I was one of my favorite magazines of all time. So we had a full page. They called it the Stuffy Vest, and they showed everything in it. It was awesome.
Yeah, Dick.
I feel like we're talking to celebrities.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Robert, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, that was Dick DiBartolo.
Yes, that
Yes.
was Dick.
And
Yeah.
Manny Sanguian, he could throw guys out sitting on the ground. He could throw out guys at second base. I remember him very well.
By the way, for both you, Robert, and Spencer, I'm going to tease it here first because it's going to be unsearchable. But we have a relationship that we're about to announce in a week or so with JDRF.
October 5th. Keep your mouth.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Could that not be better?
Yeah. We're not official till October 5th. So
That's the.
I will not say anything to my wife until then.
No,
Speaking
you
of,
can.
she's calling. I'll be right back.
You guys need to get hooked up with my travel site. The one that I'm on. I have bought so much stuff just on these women's advice. And the lady that runs it, she has a line called Compass Rose. So she has packing cubes and the bra wallets and all different kinds of stuff that she sells on Amazon. And everybody buys her stuff. And when she recommends things, people listen to her.
Well, we're looking for more influencers. We did a lot of that years ago, and we stopped doing it. But we have an influencer platform that we're working to do that with, so that she could make some money when she recommends our stuff as well. So if that's something she'd be interested in.
No, but that's where I heard about you guys, and all the women were recommending it. So
Wow.
I'm definitely going to join that group.
and if you get on there and say, I'm going to Wisconsin, and here's where I'm going, can you guys give me some advice? They do, and they tell you where to go eat and what sites to see, and because everybody's been everywhere.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Well,
I'm like the only one though who's been to Newfoundland.
Rick
Nobody.
Steve's, his sites are awesome. Steve Karminski had an issue with his enforcer jacket. Yeah, you put glass.
Use glass blowing.
Yeah, if you glass blow your jacket, it will melt. If you glass blow your face, it will melt. If you glass blow your hand, it will melt. We could put a warning on the outside bag saying, "Do not put bag over your head or glass blow your jacket."
We have part of that warning.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we actually, every plastic bag that you buy garments in, there's that warning. This is not a toy, and we did something funny one year. We were like, if anyone thinks this is a toy, they're an idiot. So we wrote, if you think this is a toy, you're an idiot. Have fun, or something like that. It must have been one lawsuit that caused all the problems years ago, I guess. So.
Oh no.
So I know that we did send some things to you, Heidi. I'm anxious, but you're on the road, so I'm anxious for your input on.
Yeah, I was hoping it might come in for the fishing trip, because I thought that would be perfect. Stick lures in and all kinds of things. But I can't wait to get home and see if it's there.
Is it appropriate to ask for a belly dance, please?
Next time I should do that. I should throw my belly dance costume and have this Scotty vest on it, take out some seals and nails and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Heidi, in addition to being a freelance travel writer, is a professional belly dancer and belly dance instructor. So that was not that off the wall of comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, people were like, well, that's a weird question to ask her.
I want to start thinking, we have 15 minutes left. We have plenty of time, but I want to start thinking about what should be the next topic. And one of the things I was interested in talking about a little bit is sharing photography from your trips. There's a great tool in Lightroom, and a lot of other things offer it too. It will show you all the places you've been. So, this is a trip to Israel, in the airport, and, and the Wailing Wall, and so, and the food. So, I think it might be fun to, if I'm going to throw something out there, is sharing those trips, kind of wanderlust fashion. Ask customers, wanderlust, I always say that wrong. Asking people to bring pictures of trips and make recommendations, like pretend you're a travel agent. But I frankly, when we did this same topic 2 weeks in a row, I said to Laura that, that's silliness. So, there's so many other topics to talk about, but I enjoy talking about travel. It's something we can't, and of course that's all, that's your living.
I think that's, people want to talk, and that was how we started the whole Wanderlust email series. It was when everybody was suddenly under lockdown, and it was just knowing people needed some entertainment, they needed an escape, and we just sent out an email asking people like if they would share photos and stories. And honestly, we received so many, I can barely keep up writing them and just stringing together people's stories and photos. And every time I ask for more, we get more. And I love reading them.
I like the
love reading the
brainstorming
submissions.
sessions that we've done, and there's also we did a Shark Tank one. There's lots of different things. I'd like to offer helpful information. This has been nice because a lot of people have joined, so in any event, just some food for thought. And I'm so thrilled to see you here again, and some regulars, Spencer, and some new folks. Robert, always. We're working on that blue shirt, by the way, Robert. So can I ask a question?
Uh-oh.
So, what is the moment, that you're going to say it's okay to travel? Because I don't think like you're going to, the headlines in the newspaper are going to say, virus over, you're allowed to travel. What is the actual moment that you're going to feel? Is it that we've reached herd immunity through a virus or otherwise? Is it what are the criteria that we're waiting for?
I think it depends on
a lot of things.
also how you're defining
Obviously
travel,
road trip.
because people are comfortable, more people are comfortable with road trips. But I mean, if you're talking about going back to the old days, pre-pandemic travel where you weren't worried about things like that, I think that's going to take, like I said, Dr. Fauci and friends saying it's okay. I mean, at that point, I mean, for me, it's going to be based on the science.
So for us, it'll be when they open up Canada.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, just merely allowing any travel in Canada, that's the signal to you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And what is the criteria for opening up Canada? Is there a criteria that's been stated?
I don't know.
I mean, are they waiting for levels to get down to a certain point?
It's
Is
Canada,
it,
eh?
That's something.
Tim Hortons, eh?
I can't help but think that there's something political about it as well.
oh, clearly, no.
So they're just gonna say no. You guys are being dummies, and we're not letting you in.
Steve Karminski from the Facebook group is saying that
Second wave.
second
and a
wave.
10
Where
p.m.
are you,
curfew.
Steve? Again? He'll have to reply. There's a little bit of a lag.
Yeah. Well, I
so.
think Canada's numbers, though, I think they flattened the curve, and they're doing very well. So I can understand them closing the borders to us because we're not doing such a great job.
No.
I mean, but I've said it's amazing, and unfortunately, I'm probably repeating things I've said. But so our town, where SCOTTeVEST headquarters, we're in Ketchum, Idaho, which is the Sun Valley ski resort, and we were hit really hard, really early.
Like the
in
hardest
March,
on a per
we
capita
actually
basis.
had a
Harder
higher-
than Wuhan
Yeah, we had a higher per capita infection rate than Wuhan.
or New York or
Or
wow.
More than anywhere. And it's because it's a ski resort, so tourist town, and it was brought in before anybody knew about it. Because of that, and because it's this real small town with kind of that whole community feeling, we went under lockdown, and we all knew people who were sick. We've all unfortunately known people who died from it. Before it became politicized, before anything, everybody here just did what we were told. We were just scared. So even people, and I talked to one UPS driver who told me, quote, the fake news, and well, I know it's not really a hoax, but he wore his mask, he did his social distancing, he told me how he stopped ringing doorbells and knocking on doors, and he'd go use his elbow on a window where there was no chance he'd touch where someone else had been. And so people, even if they didn't believe it, they did it. Our town, it's gone. There is a case here and there, and it was because we all did it and followed the rules. And it wasn't political then. We were all just afraid, and it was all our friends and neighbors who were getting sick. So I do think if people can just listen to what the doctors are saying, it can be brought under control. And it's such a shame that it's become like a political issue when it's about our health. And we'd all be able to, seeing it here, literally every single person you see in the grocery store, the post office, the pharmacy, any place crowded is wearing a mask.
Yep.
But then out on the trails, you see someone coming toward you on the trail, you jump to the side, we keep our distance, and you don't need your mask. And it's really nice, and people are just using common sense and being courteous and just looking out for each other. And from the highest per capita infection rate, it's pretty much gone. But that's also why I'm kind of afraid to go somewhere else, because people here are being so good about it. It makes you feel safe.
I think
You know,
Spencer, what?
I think your fears are justified. I mean, basically, you're looking for one of two things to happen. Either a technological threshold has to be met, meaning a vaccine, or a social threshold has to be met, which means not so much a herd immunity in terms of people getting sick, but a herd immunity in terms of people getting smart. And there are just far too many people out there that deliberately are choosing not to be smart. And each one of them can be an attack vector for a whole bunch of other people who are trying to be smart. And that's why I unfortunately can't go anywhere, because I'm in a family with at-risk people.
Right.
Because
I say, because like your daughter has diabetes, and you going out could take someone who's being careless, you know, to cause huge harm.
exactly.
I know Robert is also staying home for the same reason, and it's so unfortunate because actually seeing it work here, and it worked just because nobody knew better and we were all afraid.
Right.
And we
Instead, unfortunately, you've got super spreader events in multiple states. There were a recent one in New Jersey. There's not a chance in hell you're going to find me in Georgia or Florida anytime in this year or probably next. You know, what is it going to take? Are we going to have to hit 300,000 people before they realize it's not a hoax? You know, it's bewildering to me.
Yeah, no, and it's a scary thing that, you know, you can, until there's a vaccine, there are ways to make it work. Like I said, I mean, just watching what's going on in this community, it's incredible.
Well, I live in downtown Chicago, and the 8th I walk every single day, and I have since March 15th. And I have to stay in my neighborhood, and I have to go early in the morning when everybody has masks on. And I live in a congested area. It's amazing. I will see young people walk in the street with their mask on to get away from me. I'm not insulted. I'm very happy. I walk in the street. But that's only in the morning until about 11 o'clock. In the afternoon, it's about 75%. If I go north of where I live, where many younger people live, oh my gosh, their mask, what is that? They wear it around their wrist. They wear it, you know, they wear it and you know what I do? It makes me feel better. I go like this. It doesn't do any good, but I shake my head and I feel better.
So let's change the topic. We only have about 7 minutes left. Has anyone not answered the question about if you could go back? Yeah, no one's drinking bleach. You know, the president was just joking about that. That wasn't serious. If you watched him, that was a All right. So if you could go back in time to last September and you knew the pandemic was coming, where would you go? I've answered. Laura, have you answered? You don't like to leave the zip code. So who hasn't answered that would like to answer that?
Robert.
Yeah, I live in North San Diego County, but I grew up in the Kansas City area 20 years, and I went to school in the middle of Missouri. So at my age, 71, I don't know how many years left, but I would like to go back to my old neighborhood, to my old college, and revisit the places when my childhood and teenage years one last time. That's what I would do.
Come visit.
Robert, we're in the Kansas City area. You can come and stay with us.
Oh, I went to Shawnee Mission West. I lived in Prairie Village, 89th and Row, 78th and Tomahawk.
That's where our son danced.
Wow.
He went to West?
No.
He had his dance lessons up in the Mission area.
He went to Gardner High School.
I was going to mention, other people with a tooth gap, Michael Strahan, David Letterman.
Sexy, man.
And being there, that there's 2 weeks in the spring and 2 weeks in the fall that are probably Chicago too, and the same weather. But I love the fall. Right now, it's really great weather there, right?
Yes, gorgeous.
That feeling of fall and the leaves turning. The leaves don't turn here in San Diego. They stay green all year. But
Although we're supposed to hit 90 degrees on Saturday. That's a bit hot for now.
That is
There's 2 weeks in the fall and 2 weeks in the spring that are just great, and the rest of the year sucks. So
Okay, so where in the 3 or so minutes left remaining, what should we talk about next time? Does anyone have anything that they want to throw out there?
I can suggest 2 topics.
okay.
The first would be, what is a place that you would be willing to travel to again just for the cuisine?
Oh,
oh, Brazil.
That's a good one.
I like.
And the second one is, what are the items or objects that you uniquely carry in your Scotty products?
Okay.
Not necessarily, you know, how many things can you fit in, but something that you have brought along that you find no one else brings along when you're in a particular situation.
Oh.
You know, I do think that I like both those topics. I think the second topic is a little harder. You know, what because I don't think people are going to think that they're so unique. I think what are your go-to items that you carry in a SCOTTeVEST? You know, because like I carry, you know, and show us how.
I like the food
No,
topic.
but I
I'm
think,
already thinking about places
but
I
I
want
think
to
if we
go.
want to get our customers, and it'd be great content that we could use.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of
Yes.
building on.
There's 26 pockets. We don't know what to put in them.
I think when you do your road trip, if you can document
We'll
what you
feature you.
ended, how you filled the pockets. Because we're going to challenge you. Forget the no baggage challenge. It's the fill the 26 pocket challenge. Let's see what
Yeah,
you can
that's
do.
it. Yeah,
Or
try to
actually-
find them too. We have customer service agents standing by pointing, you know, people. I count 24. They literally want to know where all the and I want my money back. I paid for 26, and I'm not kidding.
I remember once, gosh, it had to be like 15 years ago. I was on the phone with a customer. We had just brought out the rodeo jacket with 39 pockets, and he made me go through all 39, and we did it. We counted down 39, found every single one.
Keep in mind, it's pockets and compartments.
And compartments, yes,
You know.
right, because like the earbud holders and
Yeah.
those are compartments, but we did 39. I will never forget that. I can tell you where I was standing on that call because I was juggling it as we counted.
By the way, for those of you who don't know, the background here is
Real.
It's
real.
upstairs. It's actually a
So this is a green screen, but this is not fake scenery.
Okay, as the mother of Laura and an older person, right, Scott? I only need a SCOTTeVEST during these pandemic times that have about 6 pockets. And I can tell you how to design it because the keys, I don't even take lipstick because I wear a mask. And I can tell you, older people don't need as many pockets. I don't need 39.
The 101 only has 9 pockets.
That's perfect.
And then I live, you know, in my fleece vest, which has what, 19, 15? I should know the answer to that, but I don't use all of them. Just because they're there, you don't have to use them. Because I mean, you know what I carry? I carry car keys and poop bags, and that's pretty much it.
And leashes.
And leashes. Well, leashes I always have around my neck because our girls aren't that well behaved, and if they start misbehaving on the trail, I have to be able to grab them quickly, so I don't have time to pull it out of a pocket. That's always right in hand.
So for the next catalog you do, you have to mention face masks that can go in.
Oh, we're making
They're
them.
They're making one.
We've got the samples right here.
We're launching these in a couple weeks. They're really
They'll be
cool.
here in late
They have
October.
pockets and different features, and so it's got it's a gator, and they're really comfortable, believe it or not, and they fold into themselves. And
Can I put my wallet in it?
You can
how
put
big's
some
your
money.
wallet?
There is
you
a
know.
pocket where you can put some things, but we're trying to market it not just as a pandemic accessory, but you know, it's more than a mask. You know,
Yeah.
if you're going fishing, we're talking Heide's just had fly fishing lessons, and we know because fly fishing is really popular here. It can get buggy while you're out on the water, and you can pull that up and not get the bugs in your mouth. When the California wildfire smoke was blowing into our town, I went outside and tested it, and it made it a lot easier to breathe and get rid of the smoke smell. So yes, it's for the pandemic, but it's for the pandemic and beyond, because we're hoping to get past this.
Well, so we're at the witching hour at 6 o'clock. I want to end on time. I want to thank everyone for joining us. Please email us or post something in the Facebook chat here, or other ideas. I hope you all can join us next Thursday. I'm Scott.
Well, and there's your co-hostess.
All right,
I'm
Diana,
Diana, I forgot.
and that's
I'm
right.
just the note taker.
All right.
I thought you were having a board meeting. I didn't know what you guys were doing. I walked in late.
They wouldn't have me on their board, believe me.
You're funny. I like you.
All right. On that note, we're going to say goodbye.
And we'll see everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Okay.
Bye bye.